Hey, we are in Genesis chapters 10 and 11 today. And in chapter 10, we get into the genealogy of Noah's sons. And historians, scholars, they have gone through these names and they pretty much determined where they landed. As in, God says, go out and multiply, fill the earth, get married, have kids. And they've been able to trace this lineage to different countries and stuff. And so just to name a few, like the sons of Japheth was Western Europe, India to Western Europe. Gomer, where the descendants were Germanic, like Germany, French, Celtic, Spanish. Magog and his family, Russia. Medai was the Medes, Iran and Iraq. Javan, the ancient Greeks. Ham, their descendants went to Africa, the Far East. Cush was Babylon, Ethiopia. Mizraim, Egypt. Put, Libya. Canaan was Israel, obviously. The Sinites were Oriental. Shem was Persians and Assyrians. Uz is Arabia. And so they've been able to trace this out, and we can see how the earth begins to populate from the time of Noah. So let's get into Genesis chapter 10 and then the crazy story of Genesis chapter 11. Chapter 10 in the New International Version. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. The sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer: Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Kogamah. The sons of Javan: Elisha, Tarshish, the Kittites, and the Rodanites. From these, the maritime peoples spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language. The sons of Ham: Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush: Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sabtika. The sons of Rama: Sheba and Dedan. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad, and Kilnah in Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh, Rehoboth, Calah, and Rezin, which is between Nineveh and Calah, which is the great city. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Nephthhites, Pathrusites, Casluhites, and from the Philistines came the Caphtorites. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, Sinites, Ardavites, Semarites, and the Hamathites. Later, the Canaanite clans scattered, and the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and then towards Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim as far as Lasha. These are the sons of Ham by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Eber. The sons of Shem: Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, Aram. The sons of Aram: Uz, Hul, Gether, and Meshech. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah the father of Eber. Two sons were born to Eber. One was named Peleg, because in his time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Almodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Zerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Obamil, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were sons of Joktan. The region where they lived stretched from Misha toward Zephar in the eastern hill country. These are the sons of Shem by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons, according to their lines of descent, within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. Now, the whole world had one language and a common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's to make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. This is the account of Shem's family line. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. And after he became the father of Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah. And after he became the father of Shelah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber. And after he became the father of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg. And after he became the father of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu. And after he became the father of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Serug. And after he became the father of Serug, Reu lived 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. And after he became the father of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah. And after he became the father of Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. This is the account of Terah's family line. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran became the father of Lot. While his father Terah was still alive, Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans, in the land of his birth. Abraham and Nahor both married. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran, the father of both Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was childless because she was not able to conceive. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram, and together they set out from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. All right, so we see some incredible things. It makes sense that at this point in the ball game, there's only one language. Everybody's grown up. They've birthed. It's one generation after a generation. But then there's something confusing here, because in chapter 10, it talks about them having different languages and going out into the country. So what's up if the Tower of Babel hadn't been built yet? Well, here's the deal. The Hebrew, in the Hebrew narratives, it was common that they would write a summary before giving the exact details of the account. So they're given a summary saying, hey, there's languages. Here's why there's languages, because of the Tower of Babel. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus said that the Tower of Babel was real and that he had seen it still standing in his days. The renowned chronologist Archbishop James Ussher places the time of the Babel at 106 years after the flood. And he does that because of the date of Peleg and when he was born. So why build this tower? And when I say tower, and when we read tower, think more like pyramid. Think more in those lines. It's generally thought that they were building this because they wanted to survive the next flood. But God had already said there's not another flood coming. Also, they thought this is a cool area. Let's just settle here and not move. And so people were being content that they, let's have this big city and live inside these walls and be safe and never have to move. And again, that's against what God had put forth. We get to Abram. He's mentioned 312 times in 272 verses in the Bible. The book of Genesis covers more than 2,000 years and more than 20 generations. Yet it spends about a third of its text on the life of this one man, Abram. And Abram's not having kids is what we're going to find out. And here's the problem. His name literally means father. So how embarrassing is that? And so we're going to read more about Abraham tomorrow. Behind me is the mosaic in Monreale, Italy. This mosaic is a rendition of the building of the Tower of Babel, and this is done in the around 1200 AD, 1200. So there's the facts. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.